Welcome back to our channel. Today, we are digging into a fascinating veterinary study that has some, well, pretty surprising findings. If you're into this kind of deep, evidence-based analysis, do us a huge favor. Hit subscribe, like this video, and drop a comment. It really helps other people find this content. All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to tackle a really important question today. Is it possible your dog is secretly at a higher risk for a very dangerous virus? We're going to break down a groundbreaking study that shines a new light on an old enemy, canine distemper. It gives us some clues as to what makes one dog more vulnerable than another, and trust me, the answers are not what you might expect. So before we get to the really juicy findings, we have to make sure we're all on the same page. Let's quickly get reacquainted with what we're actually up against here. We need to understand the enemy, the canine distemper virus, or CDV. So this virus, CDV, is basically a nasty cousin to the human measles virus. And man, is it infectious. It spreads through the air, in tiny droplets from a cough or a sneeze, which makes it a constant threat wherever dogs gather, like parks or daycares. This virus is a real wrecking ball. It's systemic, which means it doesn't just attack one part of the body. It can cause everything from coughing and stomach problems to skin sores. But the real, absolute nightmare, and the focus of this study, is when it invades the nervous system. That's when the damage can become truly devastating and permanent. And this number really says it all, almost 48%. That was the mortality rate in this particular study for dogs whose infection reached the neurological stage. We are talking about nearly a 50-50 chance of survival. The stakes just become unbelievably high once the brain gets involved. So why are we talking about this study specifically? What makes it such a breakthrough? Well, it's not just what the researchers found, it's how they found it. This is where the science gets really, really cool. You see, for a long time, researchers could tell us about the dogs that got sick, but they couldn't scientifically prove why. They could spot patterns, sure, but they were missing a key piece of the puzzle, a proper point of comparison. Without it, you can't draw firm conclusions. And this is the brilliant part. This study used a proper control group. They didn't just compare sick dogs to healthy dogs. They compared dogs with neurological distemper to other dogs that also had neurological problems, just not caused by distemper. This simple change allowed them to finally isolate what was unique to the CDV group, giving their findings some serious statistical muscle. So, with this new and improved method, what did they actually find? Let's get into the results because they are pretty eye-opening and challenge some things we thought we knew. Okay, the first major clue they were able to confirm in a big way was all about age. And the difference is just stark. The average age of a dog with neurological distemper was only 31 months. Compare that to the control group at 68 months. That's less than half. This gives us hard data, confirming that younger adult dogs are absolutely more susceptible. Now, this next part is maybe the biggest bombshell of the entire study. For the first time ever, researchers have statistically linked specific dog breeds to a higher risk for this disease. The numbers don't lie. For Shih Tzus and Lhasa Apsos, the risk was dramatically higher. And for anyone who knows statistics, those tiny p-values tell you this is no fluke. This is a real, measurable connection that points to some kind of genetic predisposition in these breeds. The researchers also uncovered a really clear pattern. But this one wasn't about the dogs themselves. It was about when they were getting sick. They saw a huge spike in cases during the autumn months, over 41%. The most likely reason for this is pretty simple. Colder weather probably helps the virus survive longer in the environment, which just increases the chances of transmission. Okay, so a picture is forming, right? We're on high alert for younger dogs, especially Shih Tzus and Lhasa Apsos, and we're being extra careful in the fall. Seems straightforward. But just when things seemed clear, the study uncovered a massive and, frankly, very concerning plot twist. And it's all about vaccines. You have to look at this chart. It's alarming. In the group of dogs sick with distemper, the number of dogs with up-to-date vaccinations was identical to the number with outdated ones. Over a third of these sick dogs were supposedly fully protected. So what in the world is going on here? And it gets even more baffling. This is a direct quote from the paper.
In their study group, the fully vaccinated dogs actually had a higher mortality rate. Let that sink in for a second. This is a profound finding that just demands an explanation. Now, before anyone panics, this does not mean vaccines don't work. Let me be clear. What it suggests is that there's a weak link in the chain somewhere. Maybe it's a vaccine failure, maybe the wild virus has changed, maybe immunity fades. But the researchers also point to something crucial: professional administration. A perfectly good vaccine can be rendered useless if it's stored or given improperly. So after all that data and all those twists and turns, what's the bottom line? What are the key takeaways for every single person watching this who owns or works with dogs? Well, this study gives us a much more detailed roadmap. We now know that younger dogs are at higher risk. If you have a Shih Tzu or a Lhasa Apso, you need to be aware of this predisposition. We know to be extra careful in the autumn, and maybe most importantly, we know that an up-to-date vaccine record isn't a magical force field. How that vaccine is given is just as important as if it's given at all. And this really leads to a much bigger question for all of us, doesn't it? This research screams that a one-size-fits-all approach to prevention might be leaving a lot of dogs unprotected. The future of keeping our pets safe might mean moving towards a more personalized plan, one that's tailored to their specific breed, age, and environment. And that's a wrap on this deep dive. I really hope this breakdown has given you some valuable science-backed insights that can help protect our incredible canine friends. You know, producing this kind of in-depth analysis takes a lot of work, and it's only possible because of support from viewers like you. If you found this valuable, please think about supporting what we do. The link is right there in the description. Thank you so much for watching.